Welcome back, History Heads. It's the final part of our 5-part colossal series on the Aztecs. I'm here with Horatio Gould.
Hello!
You've not really gone for any Aztec
No, I
accents
haven't really.
at all.
I hadn't really thought about it, and then you started it, and then I panicked. I jumped the gun very early there.
Yeah.
Well, what is an Aztec accent?
It's a bit
That's
of that.
not that.
Oh, well, it's close.
It's not that.
What is
That's
it then?
further north.
What is it then? Aztec greetings spoken in Nahuatl were often expressions of mutual respect and well-being. A common greeting was Nitze. Quail Tutlok. Blood. So should we? We're on part 5. It's our first ever part 5.
Congratulations
to us. The rest of us did this in 8. We think that was quite baggy.
Yes, it was baggy.
They didn't. I think we could really be doing the history in 5. I think.
Somebody's to put a cork in Dominic.
Yeah, come on, mate. We get it. You've written a kid's book. We've all got a kid's book in us. Some of us just are not allowed to publish it. It's an illustrated version of the Quran, and when the market moves, I will publish it.
When the theocracy changes.
When everyone just chills out a bit, I will publish my illustrated kids version of the Quran. The main character is just a question mark. Dominic Sandbrook's favourite childhood foods in the 1970s include Finder's crispy pancakes, Monster Munch crisps, and curly whirlies. Yeah, I imagine he's got a pretty beige food taste.
Yeah, I think it's pretty British.
That guy loves a Hawaiian pizza.
I think he's a patriot when it comes to the plate.
Yeah. He's a patriot.
He's a patriot. There's like someone who likes British food. It's a patriot.
Yeah, it's a patriot. They won't touch anything that's not British food. It's a patriot. I like that as a concept.
That's a nice kind of person. It's like, I know it's not the best food in the world,
but I'm a patriot.
I'm a patriot.
Tom Holland enjoys sushi. Exactly.
He's not a patriot.
He's a fucking traitor.
He's godless.
He also loves potatoes in any form and appreciates cod.
Which is easy to cook.
There you go. He's a cod appreciator.
That sounds like a slur.
It does. I do have a talent for making anything sound like a slur.
I think it's just the tone of your voice.
You fucking cod appreciator.
He's a bit of a cod appreciator, if you know what I mean.
That's the wrong Tom Holland, Charlie. That's because that mentions Zendaya.
Yeah.
I don't think Tom Holland from Rest History is boning Zendaya.
We don't know. She might get confused.
She may get confused.
She's like, "Oh, Tom, can you bang me, please?" And Tom goes, "Fine."
It'd be like Parent Trap, but it's the Rest of History trap. Latin American street food. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's woke nonsense. What's he called? Cromwell? Not he's called Cromwell.
Dominic Sandbrook.
Sandbrook. He likes
Cromwell.
He likes Cromwell. He likes meat and
two veg.
Cromwell.
He likes crumpets.
Fish and chips.
Ready salted crisps.
Fish and chips on Fridays because he's a patriot. He's a proud patriot. He will not have anything that's beyond this island in his mouth. Anyway, where are we? We're in part. Now, what I was going to say was, it's our first 5th parter. Obviously, there will have been some greedy fuck pig patrons who have gobbled this up in one go, like the pigs they are, covered in slurry. But for our more restrained Presbyterian viewers, could you just maybe summarise where we've got to over these 5 parts?
Oh, wait, for the whole thing?
Yeah. Give us a quick recap.
Right. So basically, Cortez is a boring old lawyer clerk from the middle of Spain. Mm-hmm. He has ambitions. Mm-hmm. He's someone who probably lives in fucking, I don't know, he's on the outskirts of London.
Yes.
Lower middle class.
Yep.
He's sat being an estate agent. He's at Foxton's.
Okay, you've done 30 seconds and all we know about is...
He works at Foxton's.
Right. Yep.
And he has designs on bigger things. Yep. So he goes out to the New World, to Cuba, and becomes a clerk there. Mm-hmm. And then by orders of his commander-in-chief, whose name is Velasquez, he gets sent to explore rumours of people with big ears.
And dog heads.
Dog heads. And as soon as he gets put in charge of his own ship, he gets a pimp chain on. Says "Crunk ain't dead."
That's it.
In big diamonds.
Yep.
He has a fur coat and he starts affecting a pimp limp. Velasquez sees this and thinks, well, I feel that you're going to go rogue, so I'm going to cancel this. And he goes, too late. I've already bought the necklace. I've thrown the receipt away. I'm in charge. He sails away. Lands in Mexico, luckily finds some shipwrecked Spaniards, who one of them had gone native, one of them had learned Mayan, and then he'd found a slave girl who spoke Mayan and Nahuatl.
Which?
So he uses that to finally be able to communicate through this sort of Chinese accent whispers. And then he sets off and follows the rumors of this city of gold.
Yep.
And as he travels down towards the city that will end up to be Tenochtitlan, Montezuma keeps sending parties to try and kind of suss him out, try and fuck him off, basically.
Yeah.
He gets there, and it's just, Montezuma acts all weird, right?
Mm.
It's kind of like they're both confused about how to act with each other.
Yes.
Right? And then, go on.
I was going to say, I could probably summarize it a bit more concisely.
Go on.
The Aztecs are people-eating savages, and Cortes, a great man from Spain, arrives, sorts them out, goes back because someone's trying to sort him out. He says, no thank you, goes back, gets roundly spanked, loses all his gold, and now he is regrouping, planning an attack.
He's melancholy at the moment, but he is determined to get his shit back.
Yeah, so this guy loves gold. Yeah. He's a Spaniard who loves gold.
He doesn't want this all to count for nothing.
No. Hundreds, maybe thousands of Spaniards are dead. Mm-hmm. So it's not all bad. But the Cortes is regrouping with all his allies, the Tlaxcalans.
Yeah. But it is interesting how the Spaniards talk about how bad English tourists are. or trash a city centre if they're on away day.
Yes.
It's like, look how they treating.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing, like all those England fans in Marseille chucking plastic furniture around.
This is
way worse.
This is far worse.
Marseille's still there. The Spaniards in the 16th century, they've decimated Tenochtitlan.
Yeah, it's literally, it doesn't exist anymore.
So what Cortes does after he's regrouping after being roundly spanked by the savages, and he captures anyone...
Tenderly spanked.
Sorry?
Tenderly spanked.
He's a massive horn dog. He's being tenderly spanked. He begins capturing anyone who helped the Aztecs, and he brands them as slaves. They have a big G for get out, war.
Supreme badge he puts on, like a hype piece.
Just an obey. He just puts that there. Just stitches it on the
Stone Island badge on the
arm.
arm.
On the side. Yeah, get the badge in for all the paintings. Get the badge in. So he brands them all as slaves. They're all wearing the Stone Island badge. Yeah. And then he devises this cunning scheme.
Okay.
So he needs to get the city back.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, he's at no point has he had any authority to do anything he's done.
Yes.
So he needs to desperately have a fuckload of gold to show the King of Spain that this is all for gold. Good reason. All for gold. So he goes... He decides to build 13 brigantines, which is a small warship. Brigantine sounds like one of your middle names.
Yes. Horatio Edward
Brigantine Gould. And he decides to launch a full naval assault on Lake Texcoco.
I mean, this is quite ingenious because he gets a ship builder when he goes back to the coast, I think.
Yeah.
And brings them over, and then they have to carry loads of like the ship materials. It's sort of like IKEA.
It's like flat pack ship. Yeah.
Yeah. They have to run it over because that's going to be the big turning point, right?
But how long? The walk is like hundreds of miles.
I never really understood the journey.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're reading about it, it was just like they went through there, then they arrived.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that journey sounds fucking awful.
Huge through the jungle, the snakes everywhere.
Yeah. There's no
tribes.
Paths. Really?
No footpaths. There's no sort of stiles, kissing gates, none of that.
Country code, shut the gate behind you.
Lovely country pub. We'll walk 20 miles and we'll have a slap up
at the Cricketers.
We'll have a slap up meal at the Cricketers. We'll have a steak and ale pie because I'm a patriot, of course. Yeah. Won't be doing with any of that foreign muck.
But not only that, but they're carrying boats through the jungle.
So they've got to carry, like, these poor Tlaxcalans have got, I mean, it's 10,000 Tlaxcalans he has, right? So he only has about 500 Spaniards.
Yeah.
10,000 Tlaxcalans. So really, you could say this is a Tlaxcalans assault on Tenochtitlan.
That's what I'm saying.
They destroy the city, ultimately.
Yeah.
You've got to give them agency in the story.
Please. And we've got one on.
Yeah.
We're joined by Tlaxcalan.
Tlaxcalan live in the studio.
They're all dead.
Ooga booga, welcome. Now, while he's planning and building these ships...
Ooga booga.
What? Ooga booga? That's what they do on one of those Jeremy Kyle show. And he's here tonight, Ooga booga. And he just comes in with
the name's Ooga booga?
No, that's me saying hello in Tlaxcalan. What did you think I was doing?
I don't know. It was pretty... Ooga booga is a nonsensical phrase often associated with a caveman or a primitive state.
There you go. Used to depict a character who's not very intelligent or sophisticated. Thank you. Childlike mentality. These people don't have wheels.
What would you ask him if he was actually here?
Ooga booga?
Yeah, what would you say?
Well, how would I say it? Ooga booga?
No, what would you ask Ooga booga?
I'd say, what did you have for breakfast? And then he'd say, whatever. And I'd say, take that foreign muck out your mouth.
Yeah,
and
you're a patriot now.
You're a patriot now, and I'd give him some crumpets, hot crumpets with marmalade.
Yeah.
And a breakfast tea, and I'd say, get that down you and swear allegiance to the king. That's what I'd say. Because if I'm anyone in this story, it's Cortez.
Yeah.
I won't be having any of this. And stop bumming people as well. Stop all this ooga boogery.
Ooga
boogery, yeah. It's in there somewhere. Anyway, while this is happening, while Cortez is building these ships, there is an army far more destructive than his working its way through Tenochtitlan.
Oh, really?
And this is an army of viruses.
Oh, you set me there.
Did you not get what I was going with?
You dropped the shoulder. I was like, who's going there? And then you post it through my legs.
Bang!
I'm embarrassed.
A right hook.
That's Luis Suarez versus David Luiz.
Just ploughing through
PSG.
him. Smallpox. One of the soldiers that Cortez had defeated at Veracruz, one of Narvaez's troops, when he joined Cortez's team, went back to Tenochtitlan before that all kicked off again. He brought smallpox with him. Now, smallpox...
nasty cold.
Smallpox is... Yeah, it's a nasty cold. Really? Is that what it is?
No, I don't think so.
I
think your skin bubbles.
Yeah, what actually is it?
It's eliminated in the 80s, but then there's a vault in Antarctica where they've kept...
Why? Why have we kept it?
Just in case they want to recreate a Mission Impossible villain.
I mean, what's the point in keeping...
The reason is if it comes back, they need to have antibody. They need to have a way of making...
Why don't you just keep the antibodies?
I think that's what they're doing or something. It's something where they might need it.
I don't know why the Chinese are still allowed a virology lab in Wuhan.
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck are you... What? We've seen what happens now when
you're getting fucking careless with it. Oh, there we go.
Homer Simpson walks out of the... thing drops. But smallpox symptoms, they include a sudden high fever, a headache, a skin rash...
blisters and scabs bubbling up.
It's quite warty.
And you'll die.
It's a warty disease.
Yeah. Ribbed for not your pleasure.
No. Ribbed for your discomfort. The ways of curing or preventing it were included keeping guinea pigs. Now, is that just to cheer you up? What's that for? Using adders.
Is anxiety animal?
Lotion.
Is it like...
Tying red ribbons around your legs. Sorry?
It's like having you know those chinchillas?
Yeah, I love chinchillas. Do you know the flat I moved into in Bristol, when I left uni, I stayed there for a year, the guy that had been in the room before me had kept 10 chinchillas in the room.
Right.
So the place was just a fucking mess. Stank.
10?
10 chinchillas.
And they're just free roams?
I think they were caged.
Right. But it just fucking shit everywhere.
I mean, it just smelled so bad of sweaty rodent.
And he'd cleared out when you'd arrived.
Yes, but there's there's the odd little droppings. There's hay.
Yeah.
That's a chinchilla dog hybrid.
No, it's not. It's AI.
That's an AI. Did you genuinely just think that was a chinchilla dog? Right.
Why not? You can
why not?
blend any animal probably. More or less to some extent.
Right.
Like you could...
Can you?
I think you
can. Can you have a chinchilla giraffe?
Or whale. Chinchilla whale.
What episode was it in this series where you just showed footage of a dog fucking a cow?
That was about 2 episodes ago.
That was 1 episode ago.
Right, okay.
Have you seen this?
What, a dog shark?
That one. I thought that was real, but it's not apparently.
You thought this was real?
On first glance, yeah. What?
First glance, Charlie goes, oh, that's a dog shark.
Do you want to explain what that is?
So for people who are listening, if you can switch to video, I would now. There is an underwater image of a shark with a dog's snout and sort of a mix of dog and shark teeth.
Yeah.
It's clearly AI generated, but thankfully... The human race isn't just Charlie.
Well, can you breed anything? I don't think you can breed anything. Could you, if you did it in a lab?
Guys.
Pig monkeys?
They did that. That's a pig blended with a monkey.
Is it?
Genuinely. That's what I got.
Is our monkey pig?
In Cuba? Why are they doing that?
Just to prove my point.
You can blend a lion and a tiger to make a liger.
Yeah, but they're not real, are they?
They're real. Lion-tiger blend. I think that's real. So you can blend them.
So within reason, you could.
I think it's within reason.
You can't do a dog and a shark.
Yeah,
but you could.
Which is news to you.
Like the horniest dog in the world.
Yeah.
Somehow just starts fucking shagging and shit.
But what's the limit of what a human can breed with?
I reckon a human could have a pig.
No.
Human pig man.
I think you could probably impregnate a pig. You couldn't do the other way around. A pig couldn't impregnate a woman, but I think a human could impregnate a pig.
I think once you bring a human into that, the pain that creature's going to suffer.
Yes.
Like the poor human pig just...
It's gonna be forced. It's gonna be forced to have a big social media account, isn't it?
Kill me.
It's gonna have a social media account, but it's like
just kill me.
People who are really disfigured have accounts being like, oh, my day in the life of whatever. But this pig's gonna be so unhappy.
Please kill me.
It's called a chimera, and it's gonna be verified on Instagram, and it's like another day. Just screaming.
My life is a living hell.
Look.
Life is pain.
Oh my God! Why is that kind of sexy on the right? There's a sexy. Oh, she's
Pig
twerking. Pig woman. Yeah, this is r/speculative evolution. You're on. So it's not real.
Yeah, she'd look like that. But you'd shoot it on exit, probably. You just prove.
Shoot it on exit.
Yeah, you just.
As it comes out, look, it's a great day for science. Bang! Get that.
You volley it.
You volley it.
Yeah. So as if it's a drop kick in rugby.
Yeah.
It falls out. You wait for it to do a small
Johnny
bounce.
Wilkinson against the Australians, 2003, 90th minute. What's he gonna do? Bang!
Let's get
back to smallpox, not pig men.
Yeah.
That's not the epidemic that the Aztecs are suffering with. This virus does not turn them into pigs or dog sharks.
But this is the big thing, right? Smallpox. This is actually, above all things, this is the number one killer.
But also, this was always going to happen.
Yeah.
This was inevitable.
Yeah, if you do blame the Spanish for smallpox, that is woke nonsense.
That is woke nonsense. Yeah. You can blame the Spanish for many things.
But then you can blame the Mongols for the Black Death.
That was their fault. And I blame the Chinese for COVID. The line of when I will stop blaming people for pandemics is probably Poland. Anything east of Poland, it's your fault. Anything west of Poland, that's just fate. That's just the way the world goes. You win some, you lose some.
Well, they lost a lot, I think.
They lost. They've
lost everything.
They've won nothing. They've lost everything. Yeah, sorry. That's what that was for saying. Is for the Aztecs. That old Aztec saying.
You know what?
You win nothing, you lose everything. That's just being an Aztec. Yeah, it'd be funny if there was like an Irish pandemic. I can't imagine. I mean, I guess there is, and it's
What do you mean?
Irish people in large urban centres.
Oh, a what?
Like a virus that Ireland is the patient zero. It's always it's always the eastern countries that seem to be importing like viruses nowadays. Be funny if it was literally
a universally quite light country.
Yeah, or just like a sort of jolly country that everyone's like, oh, it's the most romantic accent. They're great lovers. They're fun drunks. They're poets. And then it was just some kind of
alcoholism, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's their main thing, isn't it?
They could export that.
Anyway, paddypox is not a thing yet. So the smallpox epidemic devastates the Aztec world. Tens of thousands have died by late 1520, which is when Cortez is deciding to regroup.
Yeah, so I didn't realise that smallpox was rattling through the Aztecs so soon after it arrived.
Yeah, because
I guess it's so infectious.
I mean, So how do you catch it? Is it just come into contact with it?
I guess they weren't doing stay indoors.
They weren't social distancing.
Yeah.
They weren't wearing masks.
Yeah.
Comedy was still happening.
They're very anti-vax.
They're very anti-vax as a people.
It's quite a sweet name for what it is, because the Black Death is obviously quite a kind of
smallpox sounds
name.
like a northern pet name.
Yeah.
You like smallpox?
Hey, pox.
Come on,
pox.
Come on, smallpox.
Pox
Get
it.
down from there.
But it even kills Cuitlahuac, who's the new emperor.
But you have no idea what's going on. This is so much sensory overload, right? They've arrived. They're fucking big dogs with big dicks.
Yeah.
Your whole world's been turned upside down, and now everyone's getting blisters and dying.
Death
and there's nothing you can do.
Death occurs about 10 days after the onset. Christ.
Right, so it's rattling through it.
It's rattling through it.
So
the Aztecs have had an absolute batting collapse.
Yeah.
They brought smallpox on.
Yeah. The middle order is just
gutted. It's just the bales are flying everywhere. The stumps are out the ground.
Yeah.
Big pox, by the way, that refers to syphilis.
Really?
So big pox. I've got a case of the big pox. Pox positive.
Does syphilis give you big warts then?
Yeah.
You said that. You didn't Google that, Charlie. Is that have you had big pox?
I've heard. I've seen.
You've seen.
I've seen. I have a mate who had it, and he showed me.
Right. Is there such thing as a mid pox?
Showed you his big pox.
Yeah.
Did your mate have big pox?
Yeah, he had big fat blisters.
Right. From syphilis.
On his knob.
On his knob.
Yeah. He's all right now.
Wow.
And I don't think there were bug chasers at this period, were there?
Cortez.
No, but I just mean like people who were trying to catch smallpox for
I
the
see what you
sexual
mean.
thrill of it.
No, they weren't having smallpox parties.
No.
Like the gays had AIDS parties in the 80s.
Right,
that wasn't a thing. So, by late December 1520...
So how long has this been?
So the Night of Tears is in June. So they flee that.
It's like 6 months.
6 months. Cortez is regrouping, building ships. December 1520. Should we just place this for the listeners?
So I wonder what it's like in Tenochtitlan during this. Well, I guess
everyone's dying. Everyone's dying.
Right.
So 1520.
Do you want to have a go at this one? I've fought the last couple.
I've fought the last couple, to be fair. This is getting harder the more things we cover. 1520. This is after the Wars of the Roses. They have completely finished.
Yeah.
The Wars of the Roses are done.
Yeah.
It is before Kinga from Big Brother shoved that bottle up a
fanny.
Yeah. In one of the great moments of British culture in the 2000s.
So from that story, what would the Aztecs understand? I guess they'd understand a bottle. Would they know what a bottle is?
No, if you showed the Aztecs footage of George Galloway purring like a cat, they might be like, oh yeah, that's one of our gods.
Right.
That's the Galloway god.
But Kinga putting the bottle up of Fanny.
Yeah.
What bits are they holding on to? They don't, because I don't think they have glass bottles.
No, they'd probably have an obsidian bottle.
Maybe,
a black glass bottle.
And I think they understand sticking something up your fanny. Yeah. But I think that's pretty much it. That's the only thing they could really hold on to.
It's quite a visceral image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen this in a long time. Kinga masturbates with the
This
wine
is great British culture.
2005. Where is she now? What's she doing now? That's what I want to know. Oh, she's lying down. My word. Can you find out what Kinga's doing now, Charlie?
Podcast about mental health, I imagine.
Probably.
Do you think Big Brother, now that obviously everyone's got a phone, do you think the magic of do you think something like this could happen now? Or do you think this is kind of...
I mean, it won't have the same sort of innovation if someone did this now, because everyone's doing it now. This was quite like groundbreaking. Like everyone's shoving a bottle up their fanny these days.
Yeah, that's just a Tuesday, isn't it?
But this time she was an innovator. She was early doors.
Yeah.
This is her now.
And I think she's a historic figure in the way that Cortez is. It's like some people... What's that Theodore Roosevelt quote about greatness?
Some people are born with greatness.
Yeah.
Some people thrust a bottle of greatness up their fanny.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Cortez, by late December, he has got 550 infantry, 40 cavalry, 80 crossbowmen,
an arquebusier.
Another one of your middle names. Another one of your middle names, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very fruity name for
Horatio
a man with a gun.
Arquebusier Gold. 8 cannon.
It's like a sommelier, but instead you're fucking blowing people's heads off.
Yeah. I'll just check with the arquebusier if that gun's right for the blow your... It's like you want to commit suicide. Well, you want to get a trained arquebusier.
Yeah, of course.
Upon entry. And then 10,000 Tlaxcalan warriors, which again, I just,
It's missing from this...
It is missing from the story. This is a civil war that the Spaniards are consulting on.
Yes.
This is an Aztec, inter-Aztec war. The Spanish are there
funding a coup.
They're in a consulting...
The CIA funding a coup.
They're in a consultancy capacity. They are not the villains of this tale.
Right.
Now, before launching the final campaign, he gives a speech to his men on the beach, which is what he's been doing the whole time. The first time they went, he did like mass on the beach and all this stuff. He tells them that the Aztecs are in rebellion, but the principal cause of war is to preach the faith of Jesus Christ.
Right.
Even though, he adds, at the same time, it will bring us profit.
Yeah. It's just a lovely little...
Yeah. It just so happens that we're also going to get filthy rich doing this. But
don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
Don't bloody hate it.
So these are the rules of conduct for the campaign. No blasphemy, no mocking of officers or captains.
Fair enough.
No hiding during combat.
Well, it depends what kind of combat you're doing. If you're doing sneak attack.
Yeah, you can't take cover.
Right.
Take your medicine. I like that rule.
Yeah.
No, all plunder turned over to Cortez first, and no gambling except for Cortez, who's allowed to play quotes moderately, because he absolutely loves to gamble. This guy, he's a big gambling guy.
He loves to have a little flutter.
Yeah. So
he's putting a Cumies on the whole time.
He's always on. Fuck, my acca's gone. Fuck. So the Spanish and their allies marched to Lake Texcoco, the glittering petrol station in the middle of the Valley of Mexico, and they stay in Texcoco. And Cortez sends a message to Cuauhtémoc, whatever it's called, saying...
So he's still alive at this point?
Yeah, he's still alive. Saying Cortez wants peace, but if the Aztecs don't agree, he'll destroy the city.
It's quite... He didn't make any bones about that.
Fair's fair. I was very clear.
That's a short message.
Do you understand? Yep. The Aztecs say no.
Fair enough.
So, man of his word, he decides to systematically destroy every city around the lake, slaughtering everyone. The Aztecs attempt to flood the Spanish by breaking the lake's dikes. This is a different era. You wouldn't say that nowadays.
But also, I don't know who's trying to do what, because I don't know if it's the Aztecs or the Spanish.
You'd say breaking the lake's LGBTQ community.
Yes.
But again, different time.
Yeah.
The water,
so they break the lake's diesel dikes.
Yep. Who are defending the lake in their dungarees and their big shoes.
The bulkheads.
Oh, the bulkheads.
Oh, one can't stand that.
Get that back in. Yep. If anyone's interested, the Titanic was reinforced with 10 lesbians below deck, and once the fifth one was broken, the ship was sunk.
I don't know who did it, but who filled in the canals with rubble to stop the other ones swimming about? Either or could have done it. All right.
So over the next few weeks, all the surrounding towns are pacified. The aqueduct supplying Tenochtitlan with fresh water is destroyed.
Right.
And on one occasion, Spanish troops shout to the Aztec defenders that they would die of hunger, and the Aztecs reply, "Well, we'll eat you." So, and you're like, "Well, fair enough, I guess."
Yeah.
I mean, that is literally what you're going to do. Once a cannibal, always a cannibal. Once you've got a taste for the human, I reckon it's quite hard to go back to chicken.
And they'll mean it. A lot of people say, "I'll fucking eat you." That's like
I'll fucking eat you.
Well, yeah, I eat fucking cunts for breakfast.
Yeah.
He literally does.
I eat cunts for breakfast.
Yeah. Would you want to fatten your? Would you want to fatten them up, or what would your stance be on fat ones, or would you like a thin, like muscly?
Well, it depends what you want actually, because like obviously a pork belly is lovely, but you don't. Sometimes it's too rich, sometimes it's too fatty. Like occasionally you want a leaner meat. Would you not agree?
Well, yeah.
Do you always want it fattier?
I'm a patriot first and foremost, so I want it salted, and I want, if there's any sauce, it's gravy, and anything else is foreign mark.
Yeah. I guess really fat people.
Yes?
You'd
sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Talking to me? Oh, no.
You can make crackling. Right?
Oh, I love
human crackling.
Yeah,
right.
love crackling.
Bit of applesauce.
Oh, don't tempt me.
So that would be nice.
Yeah, Rick Waller crackling would be absolutely
great.
But
I imagine that if you're morbidly obese, the internals, it starts to affect
the quality of the meat.
Wagyu beef. The best beef in the world.
That's because it's marbled with fat, so there's flavour running through.
No, but you know that it's just like 10 Japanese blokes.
Yeah, massaging a cow.
Yeah, so maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah. Is that you have, how Charlie's always in the sauna, right?
Yeah.
You had them always in like a hamam.
Yeah.
Being like
massaged,
oiled, and they think they're having the best time ever. And then I'll sneak up on him and shoot him in the back of the head.
Why have you got Christopher Biggins up?
I'd like to eat him.
Right.
I've met Christopher Biggins. He almost immediately said that King Charles was homosexual about 4 seconds into meeting him.
Yeah.
I think he'd taste good. I think I'd have him with like honey.
Biggins and honey?
Yeah.
Suckling Biggins.
Suckling Biggins
would be nice.
I'd cook him like beef shin. I'd let him fall apart.
Because also I think Biggins,
he feels like someone like he could like that as you're cooking him.
But he's not stuffing his face with McDonald's. That's not where his weight comes from. I imagine it's more sophisticated, so it's higher quality.
It's high quality
posh
stuff.
Fatty.
Yeah, posh fatty because then it will seep into the flavour.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's probably getting massaged a lot.
You don't want working class fatty. Stephen Fry, another slow cook winner.
And also a man who's often massaged.
Yes,
I think gay men are probably more often massaged.
No, gay men are the taste. Gay men are the Wagyu of the human world. The saunas just loosen the meat, and then you just want to have it on a low heat with a big spice rub. Yeah. They'll love the spice rub.
They're already paying 8 Japanese men to fucking tickle them and massage them anyway.
Exactly.
So it saves a lot of costs.
You know that thing of how people want to know that their chicken has had a good life.
Free range.
Yeah. And something tastes better about knowing there's a peace that descends on you.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the same thing happens with cannibals? Where they're like, well...
A battery farm person? Well, yeah.
This fat boy had a very good 10 years.
I think if I was going to eat people, I'd want them all to be killed like Lenny. Which eventually... You know Lenny from A Mice of Men?
No, I don't.
So you know the idea of this big stupid idiot called Lenny.
Right.
And eventually, because he keeps accidentally killing people with his big fat hands and stupid head, George, his best friend, has to kill him.
Right.
And so he starts telling him stories about their dreams together as he looks off into the sunset. And he's just like, just tell me once more about the rabbits, George.
Yeah.
And then he blasts his head off.
In the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
That's classy, I think.
So I think that's also how you make halal meat, if I'm not mistaken.
This is human halal?
This is human halal. I think, I might have got that wrong, but I think halal, you have to slit their neck, but you kind of sneak up on them.
I think they have to hang them upside down, drain the blood.
Maybe not. Yeah, they have to do that, but I think there's something about them not knowing they're about to die.
Yeah, you have to wash your hands as well, I think.
Right. So I want halal human.
Halal humans, yeah.
I've told Charlie this actually yesterday, that I do think eventually I'm going to kill him like Lenny.
Charlie?
I think eventually, because we do quite a few podcasts together, and I think eventually he's going to get me into too much trouble. It's going to become too hard. And the only way is me. I'm going to tell him about You tell us about the podcast that we're gonna do in the future, and then
show me a picture of a dog shark. Wow! Bang! Yeah.
And a tear will go down my face, but it'll be the only thing I can do.
The kindest thing to do.
Yeah, no, it is the kind thing to do. It's the humane thing to do, is what it is. It's to halal slaughter Charlie. So let's carry on. 13 brigantines are constructed inland and finally dragged piece by piece through the jungle and launched into the Lake Texcoco. This gives the Spanish naval superiority, as well as their sort of general sense of superiority, moral superiority.
Well, I mean, they don't have
technological superiority.
They've only got canoes, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like those pedlos. That's all that they've got.
Freddie Flintoff pedlos after the Ashes. That's what they've got. They've got crossbows, cannon. There's no supply lines. The Aztecs respond by widening the canals and digging defensive pits along the causeways and sort of setting barricades up. So the assault begins on the 1st of June, 1521. And essentially, what starts is this mad tennis match where in the day the Spanish attack and then like ruin all the defenses, and then at night the Aztecs rebuild them all, and it's just like trench warfare again and again and again. Yeah. So Spaniards have run out of gunpowder and they just start throwing cannonballs with their bare hands. Yeah. That's good stuff. Shot putting them. The 10th of June.
That's when the dikes come in handy.
Dikes come in handy for the shot puts. Yep. That's a lesbian sport. The shot put. The Spanish break into the city on the 10th of June, reach the main square, and then are driven back. This is it. So this is what you're talking about. To deny the Aztecs cover, they demolish buildings as they... Yeah. So the destruction of Tenochtitlan sort of starts here,
as they're
really
working their way in, they're destroying all the buildings for cover. They're also filling in the canals with the rubble. Yeah. So there's no way for the Aztecs to move about. So it's just slowly moving in and in, destroying the suburbs.
And Alvarado, Cortes' number 2, he's ordered to sleep on the causeway, the bridge, to stop like assaults. Yeah. But he kept returning to shore every night to sleep with his native Gial.
Can't judge a man.
I know. Exactly. Now, the anniversary of the Noche Triste, the sad night, the boohoo, weepy weepy. So a year after...
Are they celebrating anniversaries for this?
I don't know. Thing? Well, they sort of do, in that they launch a massive assault.
Right.
So on the 30th of June, 1521, about a month into the siege, a year after the Noche Triste, the Spanish launched this huge assault, but they stumble straight into an Aztec ambush.
Uh-oh.
Cortes was surrounded and captured, about to be taken for sacrifice, when some Spaniards just chop the Aztec's arms off, holding him. So I imagine there's a moment where like the arms are still holding him, but there's no one on the arms. It's quite fun.
That's a bit of fun. That's like a Keaton stunt.
Yeah. Oh. 50 Spaniards are captured, and then they're taken up to the Great Temple and they're sacrificed, and the Spanish see the Aztecs dancing before they pull their hearts out. I mean, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying. Yeah. The Aztecs then capture a lot of Spanish weapons, like crossbows. They've got no idea how to use them, which is a sort of recurring theme of colonial conflict throughout the next 500 years.
Yes.
Now, morale is starting to decline in the Aztecs, because bear in mind, they've only really done like dance-offs, and now this is a full-on European early modern siege. Yeah. Like they're cutting water, food. They're attacking them every day. They've got barricades.
It's not ritualistic. It's not symbolic.
No. There's no like two-step Gangnam style. There's no bit of fun. It's a crushing siege.
It's not Gangnam style and then we chop all your heads off at the end.
Yeah. It's not twerk, head off. So the Aztecs then, what they do to try and get into their heads, and this is really horrible stuff.
Go on.
They flay Spanish heads, take the skins off the heads, put them on, and then ooga booga.
He's alive! Oh no!
Oh shit! No, it's not. So, but they do this mainly to the Tlaxcalans to try and spook them. So many of the natives, they desert them temporarily.
Right, so it does work.
It just does sort of work.
Yeah, I mean, it's spooky.
Now, despite all of
this...
Someone's
giving me the ick about that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because he's wearing my brother's face.
That's it. He's wearing my brother's face. It's a bit weird about him.
That guy gave me the creeps.
Yeah. So the Aztecs fight with relentless bravery. Many Spanish sources suggest that this is obviously because they're on drugs. Peyote, magic mushrooms.
Yeah, but this is just a lot of straight edge people saying they're probably on drugs.
Probably on drugs. Absolute animals.
What do you think? I mean, in terms of taking magic mushrooms and then fighting, do you think what do you think that does to you? Do you think it makes you kind of... Are you loving it? Are you having like the best time ever? Or are you having the most? Are you just terrified?
What's the question?
Taking mushrooms and then fighting. Are you having the best time ever, or are you absolutely terrified?
Well, it depends if it's a good trip or a bad trip, isn't it? It depends.
No, I think it's
automatically a bad trip.
I think it's automatically a bad trip.
Really?
Yeah, because you can have good trips or bad trips if you're sat in your living room, but if something bad happens to you, it's immediately a bad trip.
Not if you're like enjoying the fighting when it kicks in.
I think magic mushrooms wouldn't work like that.
I reckon it's like star mode on Mario Kart, where you're like ding 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 ding.
Yeah, but have you ever smoked a joint and then had to be in public even?
Yeah, it's awful.
Imagine that on magic mushrooms, but people are trying to kill you.
Yeah, I think
it's automatically a bad trip.
It's a bit like,
I guess you could go so far that you don't know you're in a battle.
You masturbate too soon to going into public, and then you just feel, everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Yeah, you can't look people in the eye.
Can't shake hands with anyone. Someone asks you the time. You go, I'm sorry, I came.
Are you expecting them to go, were you just wanking earlier?
Just wanking.
Like an old woman comes up to you.
Sorry, can I just have the time? You were just wanking, weren't you?
Can I just shake your hand?
Can I just... You just masturbate. Can I just shake your hand there? By late July, the Spanish had seized much of the northern section of the city.
The northern quarter.
You're right, the northern quarter. That's where all the vintage shops are. Great brunch in the northern quarter. They don't need to go down to that fucking London. We got the northern quarter. Fuck Shoreditch. Anyway, Cuitlahuac still refuses to surrender. Yeah. So the Spanish, they try and convince Cortes to build a catapult in one of the temples.
I brought up catapult.
Hey, what?
I brought a catapult in one of the
Oh, of course, yeah. So because this is
so I didn't think they would be using catapults, but they are.
Yeah, they
Look
are.
At that. Completely failed.
But it completely fails.
Right.
And then this is the best bit of the story.
Oh,
so
yes.
Bear in mind, this is going on.
This is in the film. This is one of the big.
Yeah.
This is the big moment. This is slow motion. The music swelling. Right.
Yeah, so
this sums everything up. Right.
This siege has been going on for 8 months, basically.
Yeah.
Nearly 7-8 months.
Right.
And
how long since we've been doing this podcast?
Feels like 7-8 months. Oh, what do you mean?
No, genuinely,
this series?
The whole
series?
pod.
Oh, right.
We started.
January. Oh, it's now end of May.
So it was like 4 months.
5 months.
Right. So yeah, this is 3 months more than this.
Yeah, exactly.
How long the whole siege would have taken.
And so think about how much content you've listened to.
Yeah.
And you'd still have 3 months of siege left. Crazy. So 8 months of bone crushing siege, and the Aztecs go, right, it's time, Mr. President. Get the football.
8 months of boner killing siege.
Deploy the code. Deploy the code.
Yeah.
The guard.
Right.
The briefcase. I'm pressing the button.
I don't want to have to do this.
The red button.
I don't want to have to do this. This is literally the last resort. You leave me no choice, Spanish.
But to play the nuclear option, which is a massive big guy dressed up as an owl. A big man.
A guy in a morph suit breakdancing.
A children's entertainer dressed up as a massive owl comes out, and see now normally,
I'm warning you.
Right, I'll push the red button. Ooh, toot, 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 toot. Right, this huge owl comes out. The Quetzal owl warrior. And bear in mind, the Aztecs they're from a world of ritual warfare.
Yeah.
This usually where it's kind of half play, half war.
Yeah.
It's a play where half the audience get taken away to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Which after most plays, I'm like, yeah, I'll sign up. Fucking cut my head off. Take my heart out. This is fucking dull. But the owl comes out, and that's usually signals the final act of the war.
Right.
And it's seen as an omen of victory. So
brilliant.
Again, it's not really how war works.
It's kitchen sink time, isn't it?
It is. It's go, right, get the owl out. Yep, we won. The owl's out. Anyway, he does a battle cry. His battle cry is something like, now Aztecs, let us take the sword of Huitzilopochtli, the arrow. Immediately you will see our enemies flee. And the Spanish, after being initially a bit confused, shoot him to death with crossbows.
Right.
And one account says that he was standing on a terrace, then suddenly fell down and no one could see it anymore. So that's the nuclear option has been robustly. That's it. It's done.
That's it.
So
that's kind of the end of the.
In the rest is history. That sort of very baggy 8-parter that they do on the Aztecs. They say this is sort of the moral defeat. Really, after this, the Aztecs going, well, if you're just going to shoot our nuclear weapon out of the sky, then what's the point? This isn't fun anymore. It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, this is clearly. I thought this was all a laugh.
That's not cricket.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You can't just shoot the owl. That's a protected species. So this kind of deflates the Aztecs. They realise that that they've got nothing. If the owl doesn't work, well then there's nothing.
What kind of dance is the owl guy doing? Is it sort of is he body popping?
Ooh.
He's doing the robot. Oh yeah.
He's doing the David Brent. But after the owl dies, envoys, Aztec envoys tell Cortez that Cuauhtémoc or whatever, the king, will be like, we'll come meet you then. Fine, negotiations can start. Well,
and this is actually the most heartbreaking bit of the story.
This is the sad bit: is that Cortez waits for 4 hours in a market, and he stood up.
I mean, that's an
absolute disgrace. We've covered lots of bad things on this podcast. This is the worst thing.
4 hours.
4 hours.
Look, I'm not the most on-time person in the world, but 4 hours is taking
this is a busy man. He's got things to do. He actually understands the laws.
4 hours.
I mean,
the disrespect.
It's one thing to get a man dressed as an owl out. That's incredibly insulting and terrifying. But to then stand him up for 4 hours,
crazy.
The Aztecs should be ashamed of themselves, and they deserve everything they get.
They've not covered themselves in glory at all.
No, they deserve everything they get. If it was up to me, they'd be getting AIDS as well as the smallpox.
Well, okay, wow.
Yep, I mean it. I absolutely mean it. Big gay pox, as it's also called. So, Cortez then launches another massive assault. They're killing or capturing, in the Spanish estimates, 40,000 people.
When he was stood up?
Yeah.
What is he going to do?
We've all been stood up on a date and think, right, I'm going to take out this entire borough. So, the 13th of August, 1521.
Right,
over 2 years.
It's kind of the middle of the Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah, that's tough. That's the day off, isn't it? That's the Black Monday. A comet appears, and the Aztecs take this as a sign that the end has come.
Right.
The Aztecs are obviously very influenced by what happens in the sky because they're thick.
Fine.
So they, like in Apocalypto, which we're going to do a Patreon review of this week. That when the eclipse happens, they were like, "Oh right, fine, we'll stop."
Well, yeah, in Apocalypto, the eclipse happens and they stop rolling people's heads down.
Yeah,
they've been rolling people's heads down for like 2 weeks, just non-stop chopping people's heads off.
And then a once in a millennium event, they're like, "Okay, we'll stop."
Okay, fine, fair enough, it's worked.
Yeah. So the next morning, thousands of Aztecs tried to flee the city by canoe, but a brigantine.
All right, so that's the last straw.
Yeah, again,
a comet. Oh fuck!
Right,
we better get out of here.
So Cortez basically captures Cuauhtémoc, and he says he quotes some Roman emperors, which is kind of like incorrectly.
Right.
This is how he sees himself.
Yes.
And then Cuauhtémoc says to Cortez, "I've done what was my part to defend myself and my people. Take that dagger you carry at your side and kill me."
Right.
And he just come out of watching Hamlet.
Right.
And Cortez goes, "No, actually, you're going to be allowed to rule, but with Spanish oversight."
Right.
And then 4 years later, he's hanged for treason anyway. But they burn his feet, which Tom Holland goes on about that for ages.
How bad?
Must have been really sore.
But there's a lot of ways you can burn a foot.
Yeah.
So how bad is it?
Well, bless him. They're actually just trying to make him dinner.
Right.
They're trying to smoke his own feet.
Yeah.
They put a salt rub in it. They brine the feet. The foot's a tough part of the human body, right? Yeah. You want to brine it first, overnight, ideally, in the fridge.
Over coals. Yeah.
Oh, lovely bit of mixed foot grill. Yeah. So they then, having completely destroyed the Aztec city, defeated the Aztecs, taken their owl down, Cortez is like, "Get in the sea and fucking find that gold that you lost me last year."
Yeah.
Or the gold.
I know it's in there.
Now, the aftermath of this is that...
some was found in the pond. Oh, that's interesting.
So they sound a little bit, but all the gold is just at the bottom of the lake. And then I wonder what happened to it because
the lake disappears as it's
the Spanish basically fill it in.
But then shouldn't they drain it?
They drain it and then...
So only some was found. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like looted? I don't know.
But interestingly, they've only really started finding all the ruins of this stuff in the 70s in Mexico City.
Yeah, it was like a builder going down, drilling down into like a basement or something.
Yeah, and they just found the temple.
Yeah.
Where all the sacrifices happened. So Cortez does
Because now,
accumulate...
I don't think we've even said this, but now on top of Tenochtitlan is Mexico City.
Yes.
So it doesn't look at all similar. It's... The idea of this glittering Venice on a lake,
which is the biggest city in the world, is it? Or?
Up there, it's not the biggest. I think Tokyo's the biggest, and there's a couple of Chinese ones that are bigger, but it's top 5 for sure. And it's so I think like 20 million people live there, maybe 25. It's fucking huge, and it is weird that the capital's just built on top of Tenochtitlan, but there's not really any remnants. It's not like there's an old town or anything like that.
They've not preserved it, have they? The Mexicans.
Yep.
Say what you want about the Brits, but we're proud of our culture.
Well, you got to, it should be like grade 1. I would put the pyramids. That's grade 1 listed.
Put some blue plaques on the pyramids, lads. If you don't want us to destroy them, Put a blue plank on.
It's more like, if you don't put your name on it, or else I'll eat it.
Yes, exactly.
With your housemate.
If it's not labelled in the fridge, I'm going to eat it. So we've come to the end of the story. What happens to Cortez in the end? This is kind of the post-credits of the film.
Yeah.
Cortez lived happily ever after. Well, he lived till he was 62, heavily in debt, and then died of pleurisy.
Well, it's quite a sad story for Cortez because he had this extraordinarily eventful time, obviously, in Mexico, but he goes back and he's still not really given the respect he deserves.
Well, no one knows him. So he kind of dies. Like, we've talked about him more now than anyone did after he got back to Spain.
So he's like Van Gogh.
Yeah. So no one cares at the time.
Right.
No one cares.
But like, I think at one point he even burst onto the king's carriage as he's going through Seville or something, basically saying like, do you fucking know what I did for you?
Yeah.
I'm not getting the respect I deserve. And the king was like, fuck off. Kicked him
away.
out.
Who are you? Hernan, fuck off.
So he actually died quite sad and didn't get any of the credit he felt he deserved.
And to sum up the scores at the end of the the end of the 5 days, between 100,000
scores
and
on the doors.
240,000 Aztecs die in the campaign, and as many as 40,000 bodies are seen floating in the canals.
Right.
After the siege. Pretty much the entire Aztec nobility, all the upper class, they're all wiped out. Survivors are pretty much only just
women and children.
Young women and children. And the Spanish tragically lose 100 people in the siege alone. And overall losses in the 2-year campaign are about 1,800.
Wow.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Absolutely shocking.
Over
20,000 Tashkarlan warriors.
So there was a lot of them. They just don't appear in the story.
No, exactly.
20,000.
So I guess now we've got to the end of the story. The Aztecs, Tenochtitlan becomes Mexico City. Spain's empire in the Americas begins.
Yes. Because I guess the modern Mexican now is actually Spanish.
Yes.
Right?
Well, this is what I was saying at the beginning of the series. That I'm interested in how did a bloodthirsty, sort of savage, cannibalistic, ritualistic people with a lot of energy get turned into fat, lazy Mexicans.
Right.
Like, that's what interests me about history.
Right.
Racial stereotypes.
Sure.
And so how have we got to this point? You know, you look at the Aztecs, the fearsome Moctezuma, and then you go like, eh?
Right.
Like, what's that journey?
People.
They're different. They're Spanish. Yeah.
But that's what I don't know. I just never really conceptualized it like that. But South America, apart from maybe like Bolivia, places like that, but like Argentina, Mexico, that is just the same way that Americans, a lot of them are British or...
Well, Argentina's different. Argentina's like full of Nazis.
Yes, yeah.
And
they're just genocided.
Any fascist that ever lived had kids in Argentina.
Sure.
Now Argentina.
That's why they're like that. But a lot of
Central America, I mean, it's
there's a mix of indigenous, but a lot of them is just in the way that Northern Europeans moved to East Coast America.
Yeah, and what I like about
Spanish.
I like about the US and Mexico's relationship is that it's sort of just carried on the English versus Spanish grudge match
Mediterranean
that's been going on since time immemorial.
Yeah.
You know, this is since the Armada, since the early days of
they carried it
sail.
Yeah.
The English and the Spanish hated each other.
Yeah.
And now that's just been completely wholesale imported
to old world. Yeah, to
Americans
North
complaining
and South
about
America.
wetbacks.
Yeah.
But it's very funny to think of the Aztecs and these sort of savage, terrifying people with this sophisticated Bronze Age society as a wetback.
Yeah.
Doesn't the slur doesn't hold.
Right.
The choco, whatever they're called.
What do you envisage if Cortez?
Are you eating?
I'm having a bit of Yorkie, yeah. If Cortez had lost to the Aztecs.
Go on.
If Cortez had lost to the Aztecs,
right?
What would the world look like now? Would we just all be eating each other?
It's inevitable. They're just sent another wave.
Someone else would have found them and killed them with smallpox.
I mean, Cortez got defeated himself a couple of times. They would have just sent someone else. It was inevitable.
This could have happened 100 years later.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have given the Aztecs enough time to.
They were fucked.
Yeah, they were fucked from the off.
And then another story that we'll do, which is interesting. Cortez's cousin once removed is Pizarro, who does the same story but with the Incas.
Oh, is it?
So they're actually distantly related.
Oh, wow, it's all the same family.
Yeah, that's
actually crazy.
Bonkers. And Pizarro has quite a similar story, and that's also an amazing story. So we'll do that as well.
Lovely stuff. Well, that brings us to the end of our mammoth five-parter. Yes. If you want more, you greedy fuckers.
Greedy fucking pigs.
What are you, a pig dog?
What are you?
What are you, a man
dog
pig?
shark?
Are you a fucking man pig and you want more? Well, there's a bonus episode every Friday on the Patreon.
Yeah.
This week.
Put it in a bottle and shove it up your fanny.
Put it in a bottle and shove it up your ass. The old Kinger special. Join the Patreon if you want more. And either way, thanks for stopping by. And we will see you for a brand new topic next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.